Good afternoon, I'm Benny Carroll, and along with Greg Richards. We're going to talk to you a little bit today about the Ohio Valley Hoops Classic, which is coming up here in 5 weeks, December 1st, 2nd, and 3rd at Mason Arena. And Greg, we got a great event, 21 teams coming to town, 11 games in all. And we feel like this event has become maybe the #1 showcase in Ohio on that opening weekend. Year in and year out, we produce state championship quality teams. We began in 2014. We've had 8 state champion teams involved in our event, 15 state Final Four teams, 5 NBA players, over 100 Division I college players. And this year's event is no different. Greg, I know you coached in the event. Tell the fans what you thought about it.
Well, yeah, and I mean, obviously I coached in it for 5 years, and you know, I think every program wants to see where they start out. And with the competition that we have, these coaches are going to know right away where they stand, you know, because these teams we got coming in this year, like every year, are top notch. And I think that's the main thing when I was coaching in it that I like to see. Give us good competition. Let's see where we stand to go on the rest of the year.
Absolutely. We've got, as I said, 21 teams coming in this year. Most all these teams have state tournament aspirations. Currently we have 20 players that hold Division I scholarship offers. There'll be more than that. Some of these younger guys will be Division I players. So if you're looking for some exciting basketball, the first weekend in December, Mason Arena will be the place you want to be. All the information for that event, our ticket sales, live stream information, so forth, is on our website, www.ohiovalleyhoopsclassic.com. So Greg, before we get right into the schedule and talking about the individual games, I do want to mention our sponsors just briefly. You can't do an event like this without some sponsors. We try to do a lot for the teams. We feed the teams. We give them a stipend to play. We give them T-shirts and things. So without sponsors, we can't do that. So I want to mention a couple. One of our presenting sponsors is BSN Sports. BSN, the guys over there, David Oxner, Eric Caddis, great guys. They give T-shirts to all of our players and coaches. And if any of you out there listening are coaches or ADs at schools, BSN does a great job. They're great to work with, super guys. I know our other presenting sponsor, RE Middleton, close to you, Greg.
Yeah, RE Middleton is a local contractor, does a lot of concrete work in our area. And again, he's one of our big sponsors every year. So again, if anybody needs some work done, RE Middleton Construction is one of our main sponsors. A lot of our other local sponsors that have been key for the last 4 years, I think, since we brought this thing to Mason, are Red Key Transportation, People's First, Lamar, AB Contracting, Benjamin's Best, and Baysource Flower Shop. So we say a big shout out to them and thank them so much. And again, if you hear those names anywhere, see those names, stop in and let them know we appreciate it.
A couple others I want to mention. La Rosa's Pizza. La Rosa's feeds our players. Everybody loves some La Rosa's Pizza. Billy Walker is the manager there at Mason, so if you're in town for the weekend, try to stop in La Rosa's and tell them you saw us at the Ohio Valley Hoops Classic. West Shore Homes, if you're going to put in a new bathroom, and I can attest to this one personally, they do great work. Beacon Orthopedics is taking care of our athletes during the event, and the U.S. Army is one of our sponsors, and they'll be there on site. So any of you young guys, gals looking for a career, check out the Army. So Greg, without further ado, let's start talking about some of the games on tap. The first game on Friday night is Crispus Attucks versus Withrow. A little quiz for you, Greg. Crispus Attucks is the home of what famous basketball player? I tricked you. I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this one.
You didn't. You got me.
Crispus Attucks is the home of Oscar Robertson.
Oh my goodness.
Big O.
Oh my goodness.
So they're
I should have known that.
You should. I'm a little disappointed you didn't know that, but anyway, now you do.
Cincinnati Royal. I should have known that.
Cincinnati Royals. So Attucks last year was they were 18-8 and they're playing one of the toughest parts of Indiana and Indianapolis. They got a great team coming back. A young man named Desmond Briscoe, 6'9" junior, has offers from Iowa, Cincinnati, Butler, and several other Division I schools. Ron Rutland's a 6'2" guard that's signed with the University of Indianapolis. And he has several other guys that are quality college prospects. Cincinnati Withrow, Coach Bert O'Allen is building Withrow back to their glory days. They were 16-6 a year ago. They also have some great athletes. 6'6" sophomore Chris Henry, son of former Cincinnati Bengal Chris Henry. He's already committed to Ohio State University for football. 6'6" senior Michael Johnson is receiving interest from D1 colleges. And freshman DeMarcus Henry, Chris's little brother, is already getting looks from D1. So this game, knocking off the tournament right off the bat, it's going to be a high-level, high-intensity athletic game. And in the 7 o'clock game, Greg, on Friday night, I think this might be the most athletic game of the entire event as far as dudes, that have high-level offers. That's Richmond Heights versus Newport, Kentucky. Of course, Richmond Heights, two-time defending state champion here in Ohio. They've won 49 consecutive ball games. They have 4 Division I guys. T.J. Crumble is a sophomore. He's a 5-star, 6'8". He's got offers from everybody, literally. Dorian Jones is another. He's a junior, 6'4" guard again. Ohio State, Cincinnati Xavier, all kinds of guys after him. De'Eric Barber is a 5'11" guard with Division I offers. And Damaris Miller, I believe. I got his name wrong here. Young man's going to be mad at me. Anyway, Damaris Winters, 6'6" forward, has offers. So they've got 4 Division I prospects. Newport, just across the river from Cincinnati, was in the Kentucky State Tournament last year, and they got some stars coming back. Taylon Kinney is a 6'2" guard, and he's got offers from Ohio State, Cincinnati Xavier, and a ton of other Division I's. He was at Kentucky's Midnight Madness a couple weeks ago. James Turner's a 6'8" sophomore who has Division I offers. Jabari Covington and Deshaun Jackson are 2 senior guards that are both high-level players. So this game is going to be just an intense, high-level basketball game. 2 teams that have their sights squarely set on a state championship. So if you want to see some great basketball, this is one you don't want to miss.
Yeah.
The nightcap on Friday night, Greg, is Mason, the home team, versus Taft. You got a little information on those?
Yeah, I do. Again, this is one of those games that obviously we have the local team in Mason and the host team going against Taft. It's kind of going to be maybe a little 2 different styles of play, I think. We'll start out with Taft. Coach Bradley, since he's been at Taft, has won like 77% of his games. Had a 2022 state champ. They're going to play a fast pace, and they're going to put pressure defense on Mason for sure. Try to turn them over. That's kind of how they try to get some of their points and some of their offensive strategies. They lost a lot of players from last year, but they kind of reloaded this year, and a lot of that it was reloading with some transfers. They're going to be long. They're going to be athletic. Some of their players that have came to Taft via Pensacola, Florida, is one. 6'5" Jordan Buchanan. He's averaged 16 points a game last year, 6 rebounds a game. He's got several offers, including one from University of North Florida. Another transfer is Damian Jenkins, 6'7", from Hughes High School. Kind of just down the road there, I think, from Taft. But he averaged 9 points, 6 rebounds a game. And a guy named Chris Smith, 6'5", also transferred in from Mount Healthy. If you look at that, 6'5", 6'7", 6'5", that's a lot of length and a lot of athleticism, to go, toward their style of play. On the other side of that, Mason's going to come in with Coach Adam Toohey, who's in his 2nd year at Mason. They're going to kind of be a new look team, he told me. They had a lot of people coming back from last year's team. A few of those kids are baseball players that are not going to play this year because they've got D1 commitments in baseball. And they did lose 2 other seniors that were 2 of their better players. So they still return 3 varsity players, and those 3 players will have 3 years varsity experience, which, Benny, and your years of coaching and everything else, that goes a long way. So even though they lost a lot of years with guys, they still got 3 guys that have 3 years varsity experience. So Coach Toohey said the style of play is going to change. Last year they thought they were big, they could pound it inside. I think they're going to rely on the 3-point shot, and the perimeter play. So some of their players coming back and to look at is one, Matt DeBross. He averaged 10 points a game and 3 rebounds. He was their 2nd leading scorer last year, and he's back. Shot 38% from the 3 line. So again, I think this is setting up to where it's going to be an outside perimeter game for Mason, and you know, if they can handle Taft's pressure. Next up is Ben Minker. Ben is going to be a 3-year starter for Mason. He started as a sophomore, started every game. He's coming out with 6 points a game from last year and 3 rebounds. And again, he shot 30% from 3 line. And then you have Braden Greer. Braden also played his sophomore year a lot and at the varsity level. And he's coming in averaging 4 points a game, 2 rebounds, but he also shot 48% from 3. Didn't shoot as many as he probably should have, and I think that might be part of his repertoire this year. So I think you're going to see it's going to be Mason's perimeter game and handling the pressure against, you know, Taft getting up and down the floor in their length. So it should be a good one.
So, and I might say, Adam Toohey took over for a legend there at Mason High School. What was that guy's name?
I don't know that answer either.
His name was Greg Richards. Greg's won 399 games at Mason, so you can tell he's passionate there. And that's going to be a great game to close out Friday night. So Saturday, our first game Saturday afternoon is 1 o'clock. That'll be Miami East versus Dayton Chaminade Julienne. 2 teams coming off outstanding years. Miami East was 21-3 a year ago. Chaminade Julienne was in the state Final Four last year, 26-3. So again, high-level game for Miami East. 6'3" guard Wes Ennis is the son of former Penn State football star Curtis Ennis.
See, I would have known the answer to that.
I know you did. I should have asked you that. My bad. And then fellow guard Jacob Roth averaged 18 a game last year. Those 2 guys are the big guns for Miami East. Chaminade did suffer a blow over the summer when B.B. Washington moved back to Kentucky with his father. But the Eagles, those of you who know high school basketball in the Dayton area, they are famous for their tenacious man-to-man defense. Coach Joe Staley was there forever, now Coach Charlie Zabo. So that's going to be a high-level game, 2 teams, well-coached, a lot of energy. That'll start us off on Saturday. Then at 2:45, this game between Erlanger Lloyd out of Kentucky, Northern Kentucky, and Sycamore probably features the best individual matchup, if you will, the entire event. Sycamore 6'10", senior Raleigh Burgess, who was injured a lot of last year. He's already committed to play for Purdue University next year, one of the top 2 or 3 players in the state of Ohio. And then Lloyd has a 6'8" junior, E.J. Walker. He has over 26 Division I offers already, including Ohio State, Xavier, and Dayton, among others. So those 2 guys, similar skill sets, both of them good on the perimeter, mobile players. That's going to be just an outstanding individual battle. And then Sycamore was 17-7 last year in spite of losing Burgess, and Lloyd was 19-9. So good supporting cast, but a great individual matchup there. So Greg, I'll let you talk a little bit about the next games on Saturday.
Next game, we got 2 local teams kind of coming in. We got St. X, coached by Coach Fleming in his first year, Coach Ryan Fleming. He came from Summit Country Day. When he started there in 2019, did a good job there. Actually played for his dad, Dan, at LaSalle, as well as his brother, who's now coaching over at Baden. So they got a good coaching tree right there within the family. So you know Coach Fleming's going to be ready to go in his first year at St. X. I think you're going to see a patient offense out of them. Again, a lot of these teams have length. We got some
teams.
long, big teams in this thing, and St. X is no different. I really feel maybe he'll play a little bit of zone. I didn't get to talk to him personally about it, but I know he did last year and maybe the year before at Summit, so I think he might throw a little bit of zone out there, but we'll see. But he's got 2 big players coming back from last year's team. Devin Welskowski, a 6'5" guy that got him 15 points a game last year. He's got Division I interest from Winthrop, Miami, Ohio, and Bellarmine. Jacob Wassler, 6'10" guy, 6'5", 6 points a game, 5 rebounds a game. Again, he has some D1 interest from some MAC schools, not committed yet as well. And then Gordy Solstead, 6'6". So again, you're throwing 6'5", 6'10", 6'6" out there. That's going to be tough, I think, maybe, to do anything inside. So maybe this could be, again, East on the outside perimeter and maybe St. X jamming it inside. But The Salsfed kid averaged 5 points a game, 5 rebounds, and he's got Division I offers in football. So he's a solid kid as far as that goes. Going to go against Lakota East. And again, Coach Clint Atkins. He played for a famous coach at Wilmington. You know who that was?
He did, a very famous guy.
It was. Do you know who it was?
Yes, I do.
Who?
The guy beside you.
Coach Benny Carroll.
Clint probably is going to shut us off now that you told everybody that.
That might be. But again, Clint, again, knows that I coached against you and him as a player. Then I got to coach against Clint as a coach. Fortunately, Clint can do both. He can play and he can coach. He's a good coach.
Yes, he is.
So, again, you're probably right. Clint's going to turn us off now and say these guys don't know what they're talking about. But anyway, again, I think Clint's going to come out again. He said a big thing about this year's team is they returned 3 varsity players off of a team that was 11-13. He wanted to let me know that they lost 8 of those games by 4 or less. You know, sometimes, you know, those are tough to handle. And I think, you know, he could come back and win those close games this year with a little bit of this experience coming back. So anyway, he's got 3 returning players. 1 top player who was a first team all GMC is Trey Perry. He has 7 Division I offers right now. He didn't specify what teams they were to me, so therefore I couldn't give you the teams. But he's only a junior. He's an electrifying player. I know when I was still coaching, he was a freshman. Fortunately for us, he got hurt in the first quarter, so it helped us almost. But the next is Coach Atkins also told me the success depends on how his inexperienced guys handle varsity experience. So could be same exercise compared to East, you know, on the perimeter.
It'll be a physical war.
Absolutely. Next game we have 2, again, outstanding teams. Bradley and Alter. Could be one of the best games I think we have in this thing. Coach Norris comes as a highly talented coach, won the 2002 state championship at Delphus. He's had 4 sons. 3 of them have played for him during the time that he's been at Bradley. He has not coached a game there without his son, well, one of his sons. Fundamentally sound. They've got a kid named Caden Norris. Yes, that's his son. He can score multiple ways, inside out. He's an Illinois State commit already. Gavin Lightning, he's got a Detroit offer. Ben Merdron, Kent State offer. So he's got 3 big-time players coming in. They're very, very fundamentally sound on both ends of the floor. And then you got the Alter Knights with Coach Coulter. Coach Coulter took his team to the Final Four last year. All right, he's got 2 returning starters, but he's got young kids coming up, and he's got a transfer too. Gavin Lean started at point guard, 6 points a game last year, shot 43% from 3. Charlie Ewell, 5 points a game, 5 rebounds. He's 6'9". R.J. Greer, he's a transfer from Springboro. He is probably getting more and the highest recruited player maybe around in the Dayton area, for sure. He's 6'3". Then you got Matt Looney, a 6'9" kid coming off the bench from last year, and a kid named Brady Connor, who's 6'6". His older brother is at Marshall. He's been getting looks at Marshall as well. So this game is going to be a good one.
I saw both those teams this summer. This game will be a high-level high school basketball game.
And I think talking to both coaches, they're excited to play against each other. Going back to what I said, these coaches are going to see where they stand right in the beginning of the year, playing against 2 top-notch teams.
That's a good one.
But
the last one Saturday night's a good one too. I think.
Absolutely. But I think this thing's going to be a lot of free balls throwing. I'm just telling you, these guys, if talking to both coaches, said they want to play fast.
It's Kings and Preble Shawnee we're talking about.
Kings and Preble Shawnee. We got Preble Shawnee with Coach Jake Turner, who came from Talawanda. He's been at Shawnee the last couple years, built this program up to where it is now. He returns 4 starters. I talked about it earlier about Mason having their 3 guys. It's been there 2 and 3 years. These guys have been not just returning as starters from last year, but been playing 2 and 3 years. They went 23-4, lost in the regional finals last year, and again, he said we're going to play fast and we're going to play aggressive pace. Again, the 6'5" kid, Mason Strout, he's already committed to Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne. He's 6'5", like I said, 6'8". Logan Howley, yes, Division II, Division III interest, and they got a 6'3" junior and Isaac Blankenship. He's a first-team All-League player from last year. Again, Coach Turner said they're going to play fast and they're going to play aggressive. We have Kings Knights coming in for the first time in the Ohio Valley Hoops Classic, and rightfully so. They got a really nice team. And some of these kids played when I was coaching 2 years ago. So again, he's got a lot of returning players. But Coach told me, he says, if we want to play fast, and he said, if we can't score in 7 seconds, then we'll run our motion offense. So he wants to score within 7 seconds if he can. So his top players are junior 6'3" Tommy Clark, 12 points a game. He shot 37% from three-line last year. He's got Division I offers from Radford, and also a lot of MAC schools are very interested as well. He's got a senior 5'11", Tanner Noyes, 13 points a game. Again, he was first team All-League ECC last year. And he also has 6'2" junior and Miles Baker, 7 points a game, and he shot 37% from three. So again, I think it's going to be fast-paced. I don't think they're afraid to, launch it.
It's going to be the kind of game you like to see at a showcase. It's going to be up-tempo, not a lot of stall ball in this one.
Absolutely. These last two games on that night are going to be electrifying, that's for sure.
So Sunday afternoon, we'll finish it up with 3 good games. First game Sunday afternoon is 2 o'clock. Cooper, Kentucky versus Delaware Hayes from the Columbus area. This again has the potential to be a very entertaining game. Delaware Hayes was 20-5 a year ago, returned 5 starters, including Jesse Burris, a 6'4" guard who's committed to Ohio University already. And they got a lot better over the summer as they got a transfer, Logan Vanderwarker, and he also has Division I offers from Furman, VCU, and several other MAC teams. Delaware Hayes is some of the people I've talked with. A lot of people think they're one of the best teams, if not the best team in the Columbus area, along with Hilliard Bradley. Right. So they're going to be really good. Cooper out of Northern Kentucky. Cooper's good year in and year out. They were a regional runner-up last year to Newport, which is another one of our teams in Ohio Valley Hoops Classic. And Cooper has I think one of the more entertaining players in this event. His name is Yamil Rondon, and he's a little guard. He's about 5'10", junior. He played on the Puerto Rican national team this year, and just an electrifying player. He passed the ball, shoot the ball. And then Cooper also has a young man coming back, Jayshon Pouncey. He was injured last year, 6'6", junior, and he is an animal inside. So this game, again, is 2 high-level basketball teams, well-coached. It's going to be an entertaining basketball game. Second game on Sunday is Round County out of Moorhead, Kentucky against Cincinnati Woodward. Of course, Woodward, Coach Darrell Redden's Bulldogs have been on a great run the last few years, 19-5 a year ago. They returned Rue Mills, a 6'4" inside player, probably one of the best dunkers in the state of Ohio. He will, I can't guarantee, but you will probably see some dunks. He's a good athlete. Dante Farrell is a 6'4" athlete also. He's a Colorado State football signee already. And then 6' junior point guard Jeremiah Hughes returns. So Woodward is going to be athletic and aggressive as always. Round County Vikings from Moorhead, they're again making their first ever appearance in Ohio Valley Hoops Classic. Colby Wilburn is a 6'3" guard who was their leading scorer last year. They returned all 5 starters from a year ago. 2 other kids getting college looks are Deshaun Watson and Jason Ingalls. So again, another high level up and down the floor game. And the final game of the night on Sunday, final game of the event, we'll have the Goshen Warriors making their first appearance against Erlanger Lloyd. And Lloyd is playing twice in our event this year, so I already talked a little bit about them. Goshen is a team that's guard heavy and 3-point heavy, like you said. So if you're looking for an exciting game, they're going to give you that. They're going to shoot the 3. Connor Moore and Caden Zinner, 2 returning guards, averaged 20 and 15 points respectively a year ago. They got a freshman, Braylon Settlemeyer, who's expected to make an impact. So again, another up and down game, the kind of game you like to see in these events. So Greg, overall we have 11 games. Really, we've been doing this for about 9 years now. I think this might be some of the best matchups we've had. As far as the games, some great teams and great, matchups, entertaining games. I did want to mention too, I think we got 6 guys this year that have Ohio State, UC, Xavier, and Dayton offers. So for local college fans,
Right.
if you want to see some of
Right.
the prospective players that'll be playing at Ohio State, UC, Dayton, and Xavier, it'd be a great time to come out and see those. Again, all the information about our event is on our website. It's www.ohiovalleyhoopsclassic.com. Greg, any final thoughts?
No, I
on
just,
the
again,
event?
we talked a little bit before we started this. When I started doing my promo of my teams, I'm like, well, I got the 4 best teams. But then listening to what you're doing, it's hard to say. I mean, it's 11 really, really good teams.
And anybody still listening at this point, you can tell Greg and I are just old basketball coaches. We've been doing this for a few years, and we just love some good basketball. And I'll throw this out there. Greg, we don't bring in the big elite teams, the college recruiting factory teams. I mean, we're high school basketball coaches, and our thing is to bring the best actual high school teams. And we feel like we get the best high school teams in Ohio,
Absolutely.
Kentucky, and Indiana. So hopefully you'll join us on December 1st, 2nd, and 3rd at the
Good basketball.
Mason High School Arena. Some great games. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.